I'm not gonna lie, coming off the 9:18 for the season opening 3K back at MSJ in mid-January was kind of a wake-up call that I kind of need to take things a little bit more seriously. I really thought in that race I'd definitely be closer to 9 flat, but that kind of really galvanized me to refocus and consider it healthy then at that point, given the way things were headed in the direction of training to bump up the mileage a little bit. So since then, I've run now 3 straight weeks, 60 to 65 miles, which is the most I've ever done, and definitely the most I've done consistently in that time span. But perhaps more excitingly, in that time period, I've had a series of meets that were pretty good. At Ohio Northern, I ran the mile in 4:30, the 800 in 2:02, and a 56.9 4x4 split, all off of no more than about an hour rest between each. And then at DePaul last week, I ran 8:56 over 3K to take the win, negative splitting coming through the mile in about 4:53, and then 4:39 pace at least for the last 1400. Closing in about 32 seconds for that last 200. So overall, the direction of training going into this meet is really looking positive, aside from the fact that the person who is probably closest to me is going to be in different clothing. Anytime you kind of have these discussions, it's always a fine line, because one of the things I pride myself on with my channel and talking to you guys is always keeping it real and truly telling you how I feel. And I'll do that as much as I can, but in this case it's a little bit different because there's definitely a lot of political tripwire surrounding the sport on this one, considering the fact that a new coach is coming to Earlham could very well watch this. Anyone associated with the institution, so I should note that this is all my opinion. And of course, it doesn't look good on my front to just bash my coach, and that's not what I'm gonna do. I understand the perspective as a career move to try and move up, and although he was the person who led our team, he also had another team to lead, and that's his family, and you gotta look out for that interest first and that type of security. But that being said, though, leaving mid-season, I would not even waiting for indoor to end. I think that was pretty tough, and a move that I can't really respect on a personal level too much, unfortunately, to tell the truth. And it's one of those where I'm not going to attack the person, but rather attack the decision. It's a business, of course. But I really feel like, unless there's something I don't know about the timeliness of when he could accept that offer and the way he left without giving anybody, as far as we know, a notice aside from that meeting where it was a complete surprise, I'm not a big fan of the way that decision happened, to tell you the truth. And although there might be some emotion tomorrow, going into the race, is seeing Derek wearing a new school's logo and not being my coach. At the end of the day, when the gun goes off, it's just you out there. There's no one who's going to run the race for you or affect it. It's all about the things that you let into your head and how your body's going to perform on the day when the gun goes off. For the distance running world, the mile is really, quite frankly, the perfect distance. 4 to 5 minutes of action and no doubt drawn with the way the positioning happens, and all of that business. So really, from a fan perspective and a distance runner, it's just incredible to watch. But what makes it so beautiful and dangerous when you're running it is next to the 800. You're moving so fast, and there's just so little room for air. Biggest thing that I kind of see people with problems in the mile is that you probably only get 2 positional moves where you can really surge hard to get to where you want, plus your kick. And some people, though, they blow those moves way too early, covering pointless moves that others are making that really aren't going to determine the outcome of the race, especially in the first 800, whereas really my strategy is to kind of bide my time, tucked into the pack on the rail, running the shortest line on the inside while letting others do the work. At the same time, though, when it comes down to kick, you can't be in a bad position buried on the inside. You need to be able to get wide, but be ready to move whenever. But I think more importantly, though, is that you have the energy saved up at that point, haven't blown it too early in the race to be able to start your kick.
Left lap. 4:28.
All right, so a couple more editor's notes type of things as I kind of wrap up this video and finish editing it. So more kind of just my thoughts on the race. The mile went pretty well. Obviously, by the looks of things, a new personal best and season's best is always good. Early on, though, it probably didn't follow my own advice that I said about kind of not wasting extra moves. I probably wasted a little bit too much energy there by not having good positioning and having to swing wide and jostle a little bit. And as a result, maybe I could have shaved off a second, but if ifs and buts for candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas every day. 4:28 is my time, 1/100th of a second off the guy in front of me, and less than a second back from the guy who won, so definitely a close race. But also, the last thing I want to address, in this meet, I also ran 800, and I DFL'd last. In my heat, at least, I ran 2:08, seated at 2:02. But again, all about transparency, not something I want to hide. But however, more for this video and the flow of things, I figured it'd probably go better just by going with the mile because I had more footage from there. And just the cadence of the video won't be thrown off as much. But that's all. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.